The Zimmermann telegram is one of the most significant and dramatic episodes in the lead-up to the United States' entry into World War I. This secret diplomatic communication, sent by German Foreign Minister Arthur Zimmermann to the German ambassador in Mexico, Heinrich von Eckardt, proposed a military alliance between Germany and Mexico if the United States entered the war against Germany. The revelation of the telegram had profound effects on American public opinion, and was a key factor in the U.S. decision to join the Allied powers against Germany. World War I, which began in 1914, had become a brutal and drawn-out conflict primarily centered in Europe. By 1917, the war had reached a stalemate, with massive casualties and little progress for either the Allied or Central Powers. The Western Front was mired in trench warfare, and both sides were looking for ways to break the deadlock. Germany had been conducting unrestricted submarine warfare, a strategy in which German U-boats or submarines targeted Allied and neutral shipping, including vessels from the United States. This aggressive tactic was intended to cut off supplies to Britain and force it out of the war. However, the sinking of ships like the RMS Lusitania in 1915, which killed 128 Americans, had already strained U.S.-German relations. By early 1917, Germany was facing severe resource shortages and a deteriorating situation on the battlefield. To tip the balance in their favor, the German High Command decided to resume unrestricted submarine warfare on February 1, 1917, despite knowing it might provoke the United States into joining the war. They believed they could starve Britain into submission before the U.S. could mobilize effectively. Germany recognized that if the United States joined the war, it could significantly bolster the Allied powers. To counter this potential threat, German Foreign Minister Arthur Zimmermann conceived a bold plan to keep the United States preoccupied on its southern border. The plan was to persuade Mexico to join the Central Powers and declare war on the United States. In return, Germany promised financial support and the restoration of territories Mexico had lost to the U.S. during the Mexican-American War of 1846 to 1848, namely Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. This proposal was communicated to the German ambassador in Mexico, Heinrich von Eckardt, through the Zimmermann telegram. The Zimmermann telegram was sent on January 16, 1917 as a coded message. It was transmitted via a secure diplomatic channel that passed through several hands, including those of the British. The text of the telegram was as follows: "We intend to begin on the 1st of February unrestricted submarine warfare. We shall endeavor in spite of this to keep the United States of America neutral. In the event of this not succeeding, we make Mexico a proposal of alliance on the following basis: make war together, make peace together, generous financial support, and an understanding on our part that Mexico is to reconquer the lost territory in Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. The settlement in detail is left to you. You will inform the President of the above most secretly as soon as the outbreak of war with the United States of America is certain, and add the suggestion that he should, on his own initiative, invite Japan to immediate adherence and at the same time mediate between Japan and ourselves. Please call the President's attention to the fact that the ruthless employment of our submarines now offers the prospect of compelling England in a few months to make peace. Signed, Zimmermann." The telegram was intercepted by British intelligence, specifically by a code-breaking unit known as Room 40. The British had managed to tap the transatlantic cables and decode German communications without Germany's knowledge. After decrypting the Zimmermann telegram, the British faced a delicate decision on how to use this intelligence. The British were initially hesitant to share the telegram with the United States because revealing how they had intercepted and decoded it could compromise their sources. However, they ultimately decided that the potential benefits outweighed the risks, particularly in convincing the U.S. to join the war against Germany. To protect their intelligence methods, the British devised a clever strategy. They acquired a copy of the telegram from a less sensitive source in Mexico, where the German ambassador had sent a copy to the Mexican government using a commercial telegraph service. The British then presented this version to the U.S. government, avoiding direct mention of their code-breaking activities. The impact of the Zimmermann telegram was profound. When the Zimmermann telegram was presented to President Woodrow Wilson on February 24, 1917, he was initially skeptical. However, the British provided enough corroborative evidence to convince him of its authenticity. On March 1, 1917, the U.S. government released the telegram to the public, and it was printed in newspapers across the country. The American public was outraged. The idea that Germany was encouraging Mexico to invade the United States and promising the return of American territory deeply shocked and angered many. This reaction was precisely what the British had hoped for. Although the United States had been edging closer to entering the war due to Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare, the Zimmermann telegram provided a clear and direct threat to U.S. national security. It united public opinion and bolstered the case for joining the Allied powers against Germany. Mexico, under the leadership of President Venustiano Carranza, was dealing with the aftermath of the Mexican Revolution and was in no position to engage in a war with the United States. The Mexican government politely declined the German proposal, recognizing that it lacked the military capability to reclaim the lost territories and fearing the overwhelming response from the United States if it attempted such an endeavor. Carranza's government also doubted the sincerity of Germany's promises, given the logistical challenges Germany would face in supporting a war effort in North America from across the Atlantic. The Zimmermann telegram was a critical factor in President Wilson's decision to ask Congress for a declaration of war against Germany. On April 2, 1917, Wilson delivered his famous war message to Congress, in which he declared that the world must be made safe for democracy. He cited the Zimmermann telegram as evidence of Germany's hostile intentions towards the United States. On April 6, 1917, the U.S. Congress formally declared war on Germany, marking America's entry into World War I. The entry of the United States into World War I provided the Allied powers with fresh troops, resources, and financial support, which were crucial in turning the tide against Germany and the Central Powers. American forces arrived in large numbers in 1918 and played a significant role in the final offensives that led to the armistice on November 11, 1918. Moreover, the revelation of the Zimmermann telegram had long-lasting effects on U.S. foreign policy. It marked the beginning of a more active and interventionist American role in global affairs, a shift from the isolationist tendencies that had previously characterized U.S. policy. The Zimmermann telegram is a classic example of how intelligence and diplomatic communications can have a profound impact on world events. The telegram's interception and subsequent publication significantly influenced the United States' decision to enter World War I, which in turn altered the course of the war and shaped the 20th century. The story of the Zimmermann telegram also highlights the importance of cryptography, intelligence gathering, and the complex interplay between diplomacy and military strategy.